Hi there, and I hope you're doing well, and welcome to the video today. I want to share with you three things that I'm glad I still do. Three things that have changed my life that I'm glad that I still do. Number one that I want to share with you is I still listen to my spiritual authority. I live a life submitted to leadership within my world that I'm accountable to, that I am open to hear from, and willing to receive advice from. So I want to share with you Hebrews 13, verse 17, in the New King James. It says, "Obey those who rule over you and be submissive, for they watch out for your souls as those who must give account. And let them do so with joy and not with grief, for that would be unprofitable for you." So clearly in the word, it's a spiritual principle. It's a law that governs our walk with God, to be submissive to those who rule over us, the people that God has placed within our lives. So those will be people within the fivefold ministry: prophets, pastors, evangelists, teachers, and pastors. I think I said pastors already, and I can't even remember, apostles. So the fivefold ministry is there for us to be protected, but also to be trained and equipped, that God will train us, equip us, and use that ministry to develop us and our character. So really, and I can say, this is kind of a principle that separates a lot of people's growth and production in their lives, where, and it comes to sort of points in life where, let's say you want to do certain things and you disagree with your leadership about it. You have a choice there. In that moment, I'm either going to obey those who rule over me, or I'm going to disobey those who rule over me. Something that's really interesting is when Miriam and Aaron spoke out against Moses, God didn't say to them, "They've spoken out against you, Moses." He said, "Get out of the way. I'm going to destroy them because they've spoken out against me." So God places, He created all authority, Romans 13. He created the structure of authority. So it's His authority that He's put in place to watch over us. So you don't get born into a family and not be put into an authoritative rank. The father's the head of the home. The husband and wife, the father and mother, work together as a team to install the authority within the home. But if dad's away, he leaves mum in charge. And when dad gets back, mum reports back. And the father brings in the discipline and the structure. And the mother brings in the atmosphere, the love, And when the mother tries to discipline and the father tries to be loving, it just all goes. And I'm not saying fathers shouldn't be loving. Please, hear what I'm saying. I'm saying that that there's a set sort of grace that the father has and a set grace the mother has, and that when they work within that grace, the thing works correctly. So that's something to sort of take. Don't take me out of context. Like, obviously, fathers and mothers love their kids equally, etc. But it says, "Hey, watch out for your souls as those who must give account. Let them do so with joy and not with grief, because that would be unprofitable for you." So I want to ask you a question. Does your leader, which is me obviously, but there's other leaders in your life as well, do they feel joy in leading you? Are you a joyful person to lead, or are you a difficult person to lead? Now, I'm not saying don't be strong. I'm not saying don't stand for what's true, but don't violate biblical principles in the name of standing up for my own rights. Because, and the fact is, if you go against your leadership, you feel it in your spirit. You feel like this contention, this striving, and it takes you out of the protection. It's like removing your finger from the hand. You're taking yourself out of God's protection and out of that umbrella of protection. Together we're protected, we're part of the body. When we remove ourselves, we're sitting ducks, waiting for Satan to come. Like he's already walking around seeking whom he can devour, and you're helping him choose, when you step out of that. And there's obviously a lot of questions that come into people's minds. And if you have any, please ask them in the comments. But things like, what if my authority are wrong? Well, a correct biblical authority system, you'll find that in Exodus chapter 18, where Jethro was Moses' father-in-law, was telling him, you're going to burn out and the people won't have peace because they're queuing up night and day to see you. Put captains, men that you trust, over tens, 50s, hundreds, 500s, thousands, tens of thousands. Small matters they can sort out, big matters they can bring to you. So that structure, that system, is put in place to protect everyone involved. And you think, okay, but what if the leader's wrong? Well, if the leader's wrong, they have a leader as well. A, that you can go to, and B, that you can have conversation with. So I have a leader. His name is Pastor Tabu. I talk about Pastor Tabu often. I bring Pastor Tabu here often, and people all know. I mean, I've been proven over many years. So I didn't just turn up one day and think, I'm going to plant a church in Manchester. That wasn't the arrangement. So, the trustworthiness and the loyalty and the faithfulness has been built up over years. It doesn't mean that I don't have to still win people and show people trust so that you've got reason to. But some people are so suspicious, they'll never be led by anyone. Even Jesus himself wouldn't be able to lead you because they're always picking faults and finding something. Jesus will feed 5,000 people, just men alone, let not women and children, and have 12 baskets left over, and you'll probably find something to moan about. Oh, why has he got leftovers? That's a waste. That could have gone to someone that was hungry in another country. Everyone will find something to moan about. So really what I want to talk to you, like the three things and I'm probably only going to get to the first thing, but I'll continue the other two in my next video. But the first thing that I'm very glad that I still do is live a submitted life to godly leadership and to the word of God. But if I'm living submitted to the word, I automatically am submitted to leadership, because the opposite to submitted to is unsubmissive. And the Bible's very clear about unsubmissiveness. It's literally a demonic principle. And rebellion is of the sin of witchcraft. So God doesn't take lightly to rebellion. You can read through the children of Israel's journey with rebellion in that regard. So I'm trying to help you. If you want to develop, God will bring leaders in your life to help develop you, to test you, and to bring you into your purpose. You don't step into it alone. Me being here in Manchester isn't an act of me and Jesus and the word. That is an act of many people, ultimately Pastor Tabu, but many other people, pastors and leaders that were in my life that helped shape and form me, discipleship, correction, encouragement, rebuke, all the well-rounded things that need to be present in a person's life for them to be able to develop. So I want to encourage you today to do what's beneficial to you. It means that if you don't live submitted, it makes it hard for your leader, but it's actually you that miss out. You lose because you can't be trusted. And I know many of you want to do great things for God, and I can't wait to see it happen. But unless you're living a submitted life, an accountable life, an open life to godly leadership, you will never achieve anything. You can go off and do your own thing, but it will never come to anything. Like, you've got to do it the right way. So Satan's looking all the time for opportunities, for doors in. If you're living a submitted life, your leaders can help you from making fatal errors in your life, protect you from that, and see it coming up ahead. It's like when you have kids, you tell them, don't do that because one of you is going to get hurt, and they're like, no, I'm fine. Don't do that. Don't jump from there because one of you is going to get hurt. 5 minutes later, bang, screams, what happened? No, I fell from here and I got hurt. Yeah, I know, because I've lived more years than you've lived, and I understand I can foresee what's going to happen. So spiritual leadership's the same. Like, none of your issues and things that you're trying to work through and struggling with, none of those things are unique to you. Everyone else is struggling with similar things. Someone else has struggled with it before. Someone else is going to struggle with it. And as pastors and leaders in the body, I mean, here you have myself. Soon we're going to raise up other pastors. But here you have myself, and I've got pastors in my life, and we have worked with people collectively for many, many years and seen many, many things. We've seen many people leave. We've seen many people stick it out. We've seen many people achieve things even when people thought they weren't going to achieve that. And those things I'm going to talk about as well. Keys or things that I've seen in people that overachieve, things that I've seen in successful people. There's always common denominators, laws and principles that are being applied. But this spiritual principle is one that will save your life. This is actually one of the first things that God taught me when I got saved, was the principle of authority. The principle of authority and the principle of submission to that authority, godly authority, and how to navigate it. And I had instances where I felt I disagreed with the leadership, and it wasn't on small things, it was on like biblical, doctrinal things. And I remember I never disrespected, never raised my voice and got an attitude. I just went into my inner room and prayed and said, God, if I'm wrong, which I really don't feel like I am, because I'm looking in your word and I'm seeing what it says, but they said it said something else, that was a type of thing. And I said, if I'm wrong, show me. But if they're wrong, they also show them, so that we can continue in our quest of discipleship together. And it's exactly that. That's exactly what happened. I did check with their authority what I was saying. I said, is this correct or not? Which is also a good thing to do. And in the end, the person that I had the disagreement with, my leader, came to me and apologized, and we made right and we went on. So, and that was just one example of many that I realized, like, God will always have your back when it comes to these principles. If you make a habit of loosely talking about your leadership and being familiar, you will never receive from them what God has in them for you to receive. You have to hold your leaders in high regard, and I don't mean blow hot air around them, blow smoke, and it's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying, like, understand these are the people that God has placed in my life, and I'm going to honor them, and I'm going to listen, and I'm going to help them, and I'm going to make their lives better, not worse. I'm not going to make it a struggle for them. What's been placed in my hand, I'm going to multiply. What God has for me to do, I'm going to continue to do and increase and just get better and better. So that's what's beneficial to you. It's beneficial for you to listen. Let's just read it one more time. Obey those who rule over you, and be submissive, for they watch out for your souls as those who must give account. Let them do so with joy and not with grief, for that would be unprofitable to you. So don't cause your parents grief. Don't cause your leaders grief. Don't cause your boss grief. Make your boss think, you know what, this is the best employee I have ever had, and they're getting promoted. So live that life, a life of submission to God. God, I trust you. I trust the people you've placed in my life, and I'm going to become who you've called me to become. And I'm going to thank God that as I live a submitted life, when I grow in my leadership, people will also be able to listen to me as I help them, as I develop them. And that's the journey of discipleship. People had to listen to Jesus, then people had to listen to disciples, and then those disciples made disciples, and they made disciples, and we're still now making disciples. So it doesn't end with me, it doesn't end with you, it continues from generation to generation. So again, if you have any questions, please ask. I know a lot of questions come up with this sort of, in this leadership and submission regard. Please ask them, and I'll get to the other two keys in the next video. Thank you so much for for tuning in, and I hope that you have a great day.